When the air raid sirens go off in Tel Aviv, you've got 60 seconds to make it to a bomb shelter. Some people have it in their apartments, some people have it in the hallway, some people have it down the street. In my building, we have one on each floor. Just came to the hallway, right here. This is my bomb shelter. It's not exactly empty. A lot of people use this not just as a bomb shelter, but as a place to store their personal items. Most of the year, to be honest, these shelters are closed and empty. But this one, like many around the country, has been open since Hamas's October 7 attacks, and they haven't been closed since. They're a place where residents of buildings who usually don't meet each other gather for the first time sometimes. I met most of my neighbors here in this bomb shelter. When you hear a siren, there's a real rush to get into the shelter in time. I have a dog, so I make sure to get dressed quickly and then try to get him over to the shelter. By this time in the war already, to be honest with you, when he hears a siren, he knows it's time to go to the shelter. One of my neighbors has a cat, but luckily they get along inside the shelter as well. You're supposed to wait at least 10 minutes from the last siren that you've heard. During that time, most people are on social media trying to figure out where the rockets are landing. Sometimes you can hear them exploding overhead, and when something lands close by, you know it. You can hear the boom and the building shakes. According to the Home Front Command, you're supposed to have days worth of supplies in here. You should have a lot of water bottles, canned food, lighting and batteries, and a medical kit in each bomb shelter, enough to last you at least for a few days. I'm standing what is usually a very busy street here in southern Tel Aviv. It's a place packed with bars and restaurants. What happens when a rocket siren goes off and everybody here is sitting down at these restaurants and bars? There's no bomb shelters inside these businesses. What happens is they all run to a local bomb shelter, communal bomb shelter, that is located inside one of these residential buildings. I'll show you. Right here. But currently, it's locked. So why is this shelter locked, even though Israelis are bracing for a serious missile attack from enemies across the Middle East? Well, I spoke to the Tel Aviv municipality today. They said it opens automatically. What they're waiting for are instructions from the country's military. Even though Iran and Israel's other enemies are talking about a devastating missile strike or other attacks on Israel, the military hasn't actually changed the guidelines for Israeli citizens yet, and they're supposed to be going about their everyday life as if nothing is happening. What I was told is that this door can be opened automatically from a button from the municipality, but in case that doesn't work, there's somebody in each neighborhood who's got the keys who can open these doors if the automatic button doesn't work. This area right behind me is just on the other side of that building that I showed you where the locked shelter is. A rocket landed here early on in the war. Nothing has been built in its place, but it's just an example of just how vulnerable people in this regular Tel Aviv neighborhood really are to these rocket attacks, and just how important it is to get into these shelters in time. This is one of over 150 communal shelters in the city of Tel Aviv. We'll go inside now, see how it looks. This is about 100 square meters and fits around 200 people. And one thing I just heard from someone who works for the city is there's a new program that these bomb shelters have Wi-Fi, which is very important because people in the bomb shelters, they want to know what's going on above ground. And when you're in one of these underground shelters, you have no Wi-Fi, it can be tough, not just for you, but also for family and friends who are trying to reach you, but they can't. What's supposed to happen, and actually what it says on the door, is that when there's a siren, this bomb shelter should open automatically. I'm sure people who are rushing to the shelter hope that is true.